Hi, I'm Brian. Welcome to my shop. It's small and overcrowded, like probably many of you. This is only 10 feet wide and 17 feet deep. I have a nice new to me cabinet saw. I do want to redo our kitchen and build a bunch of new cabinets, as well as some other things that I need to do. And I have Parkinson's and a trimmer and to replace this left wing, which is 12 inches wide, with a sliding crosscut table. Table saw, and putting the sliding table on the left side is the blade angle blade adjust wheel. So I need clearance. I want to keep the sliding table thickness quite thin so that it doesn't interfere with clearance and reaching down and adjusting the blade angle. What I'm going to do is make this a two-stage telescopic table. So this will be an intermediate stage. Combining these two together like this, I should be able to get conservatively about 45 inches of crosscut capability ahead of the blade. This is some thick wall 1.75 by 3-inch rectangular tubing that will be on this side, and 1.75-inch thick wall square tubing, and it will mount on the underside of the table, under the underside of the fence angle here. I will have to cut the rear fence angle and the front fence angle and this part of the tubing off, but I'm going to make these parts so that they can be reattached later. I'm going to make the sliding table have a quick release mechanism on there that sits on, the system will sit on here with locating pins to locate it accurately. I'll be able to take this off quickly. I could, with a little bit of adapting, a little bit more metal, I can put this table back in its place as a quick release. And I also have a Delta Shopmaster 1/2-inch router assembly here, and I'm going to make that so that that fits in here, so I can take out the sliding table and pop in my router table and be able to use it. I'll have some T-tracks on there so that I can clamp panels whichever angle or position I need and locate it down so the trimmer doesn't interfere with things like that way. I've got my intermediate stage. Now that's ready to start laying out the holes I need to make to mount all the carriages. Okay, now it's time to center punch these hole locations. Okay. I've switched it out for a 6.5 millimeter bit, which is the clearance hole for the M6 bolts. Well, I screwed up and I didn't account for things properly, so there wasn't enough room for the heads. I've had to relocate the holes again. Here I go again. Countersink bit because I want to keep a low clearance for the table here, so time to countersink these. That's where I made my mistake. I forgot to add that distance to the hole center from the side of the block. As you can see, my new holes, the original holes. Okay. Now it's time to cut my aluminum angle to the lengths I need. Okay, it's time for some initial mock-up assembly and test fitting. But first problem I have is the grease fittings for these slides are on the outside and they are going to bang into my stop. So I need to move one of them to the other side so that my grease nipples are on the grease nipples are on the inside. Okay, welcome back. It's now time for some mock-up assembly. And the first thing I need to do is to bolt on these HGR rails. And I'm just going to put a couple of bolts in each for now. This is just a mock-up and test fit. Now it's time to mock this up in place, or close proximity thereof. Okay, here it is assembled in mock-up fashion. There. That's fully extended. And I currently have 43 inches. So by the time I add my 2-inch angle iron across the back, which will act as end stops, that will give me the 45 inches I need. Plus there's an additional looks like I've got another 3/4 of an inch travel on the lower pieces. Yeah, that's good. So my mock-up works and proves that I'm on the right track, and will give me smooth. Yeah, by the time this is done and bolted together, it should be plenty stiff enough. Thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next episode. Hopefully by the end of next week. I'm new at this, so doing different camera angles and things is a bit of a challenge and a learning curve, as well as the editing software. So see you next week.